Hi guys, I just wanted to stop in and talk to you a little bit about what it's like living with gastroparesis and sharing a little bit of my story. Gastroparesis is a condition where your stomach is paralyzed, either partially or all the way. It causes delayed gastric emptying. So whenever you eat, it sits in there. It can sit in there for hours, days. People have even had food sit in there for a week. Um, it's very uncomfortable, very painful. Um, in my case, everybody's symptoms are a little different. In my case, I had a lot of, whenever I would ingest anything, I would get a lot of stomach pain, nausea, bloating. I would feel really full after just a few bites of food. Um, and I did not ever throw up because if I were to continue to eat a whole meal or things like that, like I would have. But I'm one of those people that don't like to do that, and so I have like a little bit of a fear of doing that. So I do everything I can not to get sick. So I always ate just little bits of whatever, and so I didn't. But so that's what was my case. I've had stomach or GI issues for years. Tried tons of different things, eliminating foods, adding different foods in, different things like paleo, vegan, vegetarian, dairy free, gluten free, fiber free, fat free, just anything. And none of it actually ever worked and helped. And now I know it was because it wasn't necessarily the food, it was my stomach that was not functioning. Pardon me. But um, for me, the last thing that I was doing and trying was eating a plant based diet. So I was eating a lot of fiber, a lot of fat, and things like that. And that just kind of exacerbated all my symptoms. And everything hit me really hard in October. So hard that it almost feels like it was overnight. I don't remember what my last meal was. I don't remember what the last actual meal I had was. And um, I just remember I would eat and then I couldn't eat. And it would hurt to eat. And I'd feel really sick. And I'd get full and I have no appetite. And it was just like, ugh, I don't know what was going on. We did different testing and like CT scans, ultrasounds, things like that. And stuff was okay. So they moved to a gastric emptying study, and that's what they used to diagnose gastroparesis with. So I went and had a 3-hour test done, and it showed gastroparesis. I think 50% of my food was still left after, uh, let's see, 3 hours or something. I guess 50% still in there. So and that was with liquids also. My liquids were still in there after an hour and a half. They just sat there. Half of my liquids, 50% was still in there after an hour and a half of liquids too. So I have both the solid and the liquid that don't go. So my stomach doesn't function with those. Um, so it got to where I tried to do the gastroparesis diet. So I cut out fiber and fat, and I just, try to eat soft foods. Basically, ended up just being carbs and junk food is what my stomach could tolerate at the time. And then it moved to where my stomach wouldn't even tolerate that, and it would only tolerate baby food and like some liquids. And that's where I ended up staying for a couple months. And with that, I was only getting 600 to 800 calories a day, and it was not enough to sustain my body. And so I got really, really weak. I lost weight. I went from about 120 pounds down to 106. And I continued, I was still losing before I got this tube. But it was very difficult. Very painful, very difficult, very discouraging. I got really weak. All my other chronic illnesses that I have, some of them are Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, POTS, dysautonomia, myasthenia gravis. Those they flared up because of the lack of nutrition. And I just went downhill really quick. and I lost a lot of muscle. Um, my legs are very emaciated right now, atrophied, um, and my arms did too. But anyway, so I could not take some of the medication for gastroparesis. Sometimes people are prescribed like Reglan or erythromycin. Reglan I had in the past for something, and it caused some tremors, so that was out. And then erythromycin I couldn't take because of myasthenia gravis, and then they don't even work very well. They do Botox injections sometimes, so I can't do those because of because of myasthenia gravis. So anyway, the treatment options, because of my other illnesses, were kind of out, and that happens a lot with me because I have eight chronic illnesses, and a lot of times they contradict each other, counteract each other, and so a treatment for one counteracts with the other illness I have, so I can't do it. So I can't do those treatments. So they just, I'm left untreated usually. But so with this, I was losing weight, going downhill, blacking out. My POTS was bad. My pulse was really high all the time. My blood pressure was running in the 80s and over 50s, and I was just really weak. I couldn't stand up for long periods at all. I couldn't hardly, there was just a lot. So it was decided that I would get a feeding tube, and this is an NJ, which is a nasojejunal tube. It bypasses my stomach and goes into my intestines, because since my stomach is broken, it's pointless to try to put anything in there because it won't go anywhere. And so we put it in the intestines, and it works out. It has helped me. I have gained 5 pounds, and I have a little bit more energy. I am still tired. My body is still trying to recuperate from having a lack of nutrition since around October. But I can feel a difference, and my POTS is better. So my blood pressure has been better. I don't black out as often. And I'm getting fluids through this, whereas with the gastroparesis, when I didn't have the tube, I couldn't drink enough or eat enough or anything. So this gives me, I think, around 2 liters or a little more than 2 liters of fluid a day, which before I was getting maybe 32 ounces. So this helps. I am able to actually have a formula or a fuel that is plant-based and organic from Kate Farms. Thank you, Kate Farms, for producing such a thing. I seem to be tolerating it okay. But so because this is working, and there is no other options for me, the conditions that have caused my gastroparesis, my doctors think is the Ehlers-Danlos, the myasthenia gravis, and the POTS, or dysautonomia, which is the autonomic nervous system dysfunction. And that's where your autonomic nervous system is what kind of regulates your temperature, your GI system, your heart rate, and stuff like that. So those conditions are not going away. There's no cure for those, and those conditions for me are not really treated, because I don't have any treatment options. I'm out of options right now. So this is our best solution to help all of those conditions. So because of that, we were going to have a permanent tube put in my abdomen, and we do that on the 26th. It'll still go into my jejunum, but I'll be able to get rid of this. Thank you. This is very uncomfortable. It hurts a lot, even after having it for, I think I've had it for 3 weeks. I think 3 weeks. It hurts. My nasal cavity is swollen still. My throat is swollen still. It hurts to talk, swallow, all of that. So I'll be very thankful to get this out of my nose and my face. But then I just trade it for a different set of pain in my abdomen, at first, but that's okay. We'll get through it. So it's with the gastroparesis, this is one of the conditions that is a life-stealing condition. So it steals life from you, your family, and things like that. Um, if I didn't have this tube, I would be on my way out. I'm so thankful for the feeding tube. If I didn't have the tube, they may be able to do TPN or something. But I'm just saying, I'm thankful for the tube. It is giving me life. It's giving me nutrients that I was not able to get since October. My body is still acclimating to it, getting used to having a tube, getting used to having this kind of a fuel source instead of me orally eating. But the nausea is still there. I still get nausea. I still have stomach pain, and I still have bloating. In fact, the bloating is probably not ever going to go away. Your body just doesn't look like you want it to sometimes, and you kind of have to learn to accept that. Have a tubey belly, a bloated tubey belly, because that's just the way it's going to be. So sometimes you look pregnant and the rest of you's thin and atrophied sometimes, but you have this bloated belly, and that's just how it is. And there's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing anybody can do about it. It's just the nature of gastroparesis, and something that I'm learning to have to accept a lot of different things. My hair has gotten whiter. There's just been a lot of physical changes from this condition. And this is a condition where a lot of people, in all of my 8 chronic illnesses, I'm in different groups, but this particular condition is one I have seen so many people that have tried to commit suicide. It is a very, very difficult condition to live with. It hurts. It's annoying. You don't get a break. You don't get a break from being nauseous or bloated or in pain or anything like that. So there's not ever usually a reprieve, and that wears on people. And a lot of times people give up, but I just want to encourage you not to. Take a day, and just cry and be upset and hate the world and things like that. But the next day you need to get up and move forward. And I've had to do that myself. This is a very discouraging condition. People deal with, I deal with, my husband deals with. You miss food. You miss food. I mean, life revolves around food, and you don't ever get to have it like you did before. I'm lucky to be able to eat a few bites of whatever throughout the day. Most of the time I'm having broth, but sometimes I can have a bite of, I don't know, whatever it is, but it's like a single bite, and that's it. And for people that are not tube fed, and that's all they can do too. So, these people they're suffering. They can only eat a few bites of food all day, and their bodies are wearing down, they're wearing out, it's just really hard. So I'm very thankful for my feeding tube. As uncomfortable as it is, I'm thankful for it, and I'm thankful for my permanent one that I'm going to be getting. Because I think it's going to allow me to live the best possible life that I can live with all my conditions that I have. And, the reality is I'm not Superwoman. I'm not going to be able to do all these things that I used to be able to do, but I can do some things. And, like canoeing, that's a goal of mine, and I will wear this feeding tube pack in my canoe, and I will, do that. I might not get very far, but I'm going to do it because that's a goal of mine, and that is something in my life that I cherish, is the outdoors. I love the outdoors. I love the outdoors. I love it. And I want to get back out there. And if that means having a feeding tube, pack, then that's what I'm going to do. It might not be for long. It might not be how it used to be, but I'm still going to try. I have to. Otherwise, what's the point? But yeah, so I don't know. I just wanted to kind of share a little bit about that. Our days are frustrating sometimes in the sense of you're constantly dealing with your feeding tube because you have to maintain it, you know, so it doesn't clog. And so you're flushing it like 5 times a day, and you have to, you know, get your feed ready and the pump ready and the formula in there, and make sure you don't spill it all over the place or flip it everywhere, which I've done. And, you know, just like that. And that's an every single day thing. You don't get a break. You know, you don't get a break. This is your fuel. This is your food. This is your source of life right now. So you don't get a break. But I've come to appreciate it, and so, you know, it's given me some life back in me. You know, like I said, it's helped my other chronic illnesses. I am out of treatment options for that, so I'm basically a patient that is just managed. Like, you know, we went to the doctor and like discussed it. There's no heroics, you know, there's nothing major that I can do because of different things with different illnesses. And so we've exhausted all these possibilities, and some that, all the ones that I'm comfortable with and things like that. And so this is it. This is it. This is the best I got, is this feeding tube. And so I'm believing that it's going to give me what I need to live the best possible life I can while I'm here. And so, you know, I may have this for years and years, and that's okay. But I just, you know, when you have an illness like this that is life-stealing, you tend to look at life a little bit different. You appreciate it more. You know, you appreciate your family, and you appreciate nature more, even though I really always appreciated it. But you just appreciate everything so much more. You know, I appreciate, like, my son, and I the man that he's becoming. I'm so proud of him, and I catch myself just studying him and studying his face and cherishing all those memories of him. You know, when he comes by and, you know, spends a little time at the house, that just means the world to me, and I love every second of it. I can't, you know, I soak all of that up. My husband, you know, we've been married 21 years, and I find myself studying his face and just cherishing every little moment that we have together. You know, no matter what it is, we could just be sitting on the couch, both of us on our computer, but we're together. And, you know, I appreciate that. I appreciate what he's done for me. I appreciate, you know, how he stepped up for me this past few months with his gastroparesis. It's been very difficult on him to watch his wife decline, to where that slope got real slippery. Wasn't sure, you know, if I didn't get intervention with a feeding tube, it was not good. It was not going to be good. But he helped, you know, advocate for me, and, you know, he's really always been there to do that. And I appreciate that about him. And, you know, I appreciate my relationship with God more, you know, and, you know, being at peace with everything. You know, he gives me what I need every day to sustain me. And, you know, I'm to the point where physical healing means nothing to me anymore. I don't even care about it. I'm over, you know, just, it really, in the grand scheme of things, it does not matter. Because this body is going to be thrown out. It's, you know, it's going to be gone. The only thing that really matters is my relationship with Christ and spiritual healing, and like my spiritual health. That's what's important to me. My physical health, I don't, you know, it's whatever. It's not up there anymore with me. It's not, you know, at one point in my life, it was an idol. You know, physical health and physical healing and everything, you know, it was an idol, and it's not anymore. It's that is torn down. And but I might get into more of that. And I'm writing a book called Hope Beyond Healing. I'm still trying to work on it. I haven't worked on it for several months because I could not think, and I was so sick and weak, and I literally could not even talk. So obviously I'm talking now, and so that means I'm getting better, and I'll be working on that. But anyway, thanks for clicking on the video. And you know, if you have gastroparesis, hang in there. You know, if you need to chat, you know, comment me, message me. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, you know, whatever. But, you know, hang in there. You know, it's just, don't let this get you, and don't let it ruin you. If you need a day to be ruined, take it. You know, cry, get mad, eat ice cream, whatever it is you need to do. But then get up, move forward, keep going. You know, and if you stumble again, take that day again. But don't stay there. Um, it's not a good place to be. I know myself, I've had those days, but I don't stay there. But I let myself have those days because you need to. But don't stay there. So, you always say, what's the saying? You know, rest, but don't give up. You know, so. But thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.